What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to be talking about the new Netflix movie that cost an astronomical sum to make, and that is The Electric State, directed by the Russo brothers, starring Millie Bobby Brown, Ke Quan, and Chris Pratt. An orphan teen hits the road with a mysterious robot to find her long-lost brother, teaming up with a smuggler and his wisecracking sidekick. So much has been made about this movie already. Apparently, all of Twitter wants you to hate it. Every critic in the world wants you to hate it, and I went into this thing expecting to hate it, and no, I didn't like the movie. I do have to give the movie credit where credit is due, though, because I do think when a movie does things right, even if it is bad, I have to address that in a review. So, what I think the movie did right is that I get that it was going for a certain tone. While that nostalgic tone didn't necessarily work for me, I liked the vibe that it gave off. This kind of like cold, comforting, yet adventurous vibe that it was going for. It's just a lot of that vibe relies on nostalgia, especially in a day and age where everything is very nostalgia baity and everything is made based on nostalgia. And it seems like everybody loves everything because it's nostalgic. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Here, it didn't work for me, but the adventurous, lighthearted, kind of vibe that it was going for. I don't know. I feel like this movie could have come out in like 1992 and it would have been great. I guess that's the vibe I was getting. I was getting that this was like a 90s Spielbergian type of vibe, which is going to kind of contradict what I'm going to say later. So I liked the vibe, just not necessarily the nostalgia it was going for because it was shoving that down my throat. But the vibe, yeah, that kind of Spielbergian adventurous, wondrous vibe. Like that a lot. I also do have to appreciate the fact that the Russos took the time to actually use this astronomical megabuck money that they got. That's what I'm going to call it. I'm just going to call it the megabucks budget. 320 million. Holy shit, this movie cost that much to make. I like that they actually put that money to good use in some parts, like of all the animatronics. All the animatronics, they did a really good job at trying to actually have animatronics in the movie instead of relying fully on CGI. The animatronics looked pretty good. I didn't like the designs of all of them, but at least they moved well. It felt swift when they moved. It didn't look shaky. It didn't look glitchy. It looked like everything was in working order, and if nothing was in working order, they were able to hide it pretty well. And also filming on location for the most part. There is one scene I'm going to talk about in a little bit. But for the most part, I felt like they were filming on location. I could actually see like broad daylight. It looked like natural lighting in some parts, looked like actual locations, looked like actual places that were tangible in the world instead of just being on a set in front of a giant green screen or just having everything look so digital, maybe not even having a set that is in front of the green screen. And it just it brought this kind of warmness that, oh hey, there's still people out there that care about filming on location. When you have the megabucks budget, you should film on location. So I was actually happy to see it wasn't just CGI. I hate using this word, but slop. The rest of the movie, though, didn't really work for me. I don't really like the way the Russo brothers directed a lot of the actors in this. I mean, you could tell that Chris Pratt just walked on the set and he was like, all right, guys, it's nice seeing you again. What do you want me to do? And the Russo brothers were just like, we really don't know how to direct this character because it's a very non-existent character. So just do Star-Lord. And that's what Chris Pratt did for the whole movie. He was just playing Star-Lord with a 90s mullet and a porn star mustache, saying quippy lines like Star-Lord would. I guess they're trying to play into the charm of Chris Pratt, but too much of it just felt like Star-Lord. It felt like he was typecast as Star-Lord. Everything he's in, I feel like, since Guardians of the Galaxy, he's just playing Star-Lord. That's all it is. Millie Bobby Brown, for me, I can't believe it's taken me this long to actually realize it, but I really don't like her as an actress. And it's, there's other things that I have to take into account that I'm trying to leave out of this review for like the fact that she doesn't like the art of filmmaking. She hates it. She hates her profession. But I mean, I'm just looking at her. I'm like, Yeah, there are many scenes in here where you are overextending yourself. You are trying way too hard to act like you are a good actress, and it's not coming across as you're acting like a good actress. It's like her line delivery, her facial expressions, like she's trying way too hard to prove that she's a good actress. There's one scene in particular between Giancarlo Stanton and Stanley Tucci. Okay, I don't know how they got to this location. They're in like a field with like mountains and rivers behind them. That's the scene where I'm just like, okay, you went from filming on location to doing the whole let's film in front of a giant green screen, make it look digital and fake. It was the one scene in the movie where my eyes became sore in that scene. It was the one scene in the movie that stuck out like a sore thumb, and it's so obvious because everything looks so digital. It's broad daylight. The sky does not have the same blue color hue that you did when you filmed on location. Those mountains look darker than they should be. The grass isn't always green, apparently. Looked like they were standing in the backdrop of something AI created. The overall story here didn't really grab me, and I guess that's because, like I said earlier, the movie felt like it was trying to be like a 90s Spielbergian adventure, but the movie came off more as a really bad Michael Bay Transformers movie. All these robots are cracking jokes. None of them are funny. Some of them are borderline like really offensive. And I think we do need some offensive comedy here every once in a while, but it's like the type of offensive that's just like, okay, why'd you say that? It wasn't the type of offensive that was funny. Millie Bobby Brown and Chris Pratt's zero chemistry as the leads, and the story here is all told within the first 10 minutes of the movie. That was the story I wanted to see with this movie, and then it completely does something else. I didn't like what this movie was actually doing. It falls into that trap of being a Netflix movie that has a script that is so predictable. You know which characters are bad, you know which characters are good, or you know which characters are going to turn good, and you know which characters are going to turn bad. It's one of those types of scripts. The movie over explains everything. There's so much exposition in here, and it just breezes over the most interesting topical things that this movie could have tackled. And I've heard that it's not even faithful to the source material. It came up with its own story that can work. Prime example. This is going to be a weird ass comparison, but the Prince of Persia movie with Jake Gyllenhaal, yeah, that thing has its own story. But the core elements, the parkour, the dagger of time, the sands of time, that all stays the same from the game. And luckily, that movie had the creator of the game, Jordan Mechner, writing the movie. He even went on record and said, I did this intentionally on purpose because the game is the game, the movie is the movie. I want there to be the core elements in there, but I want the movie to have a different story. So it can work, and I enjoy that movie for what it is. Not a great movie, but an entertaining movie. Whereas this one, I feel as if they're trying too hard to entertain you. They don't have a complete story to do it. The characters feel non-existent when you can't even remember a single character's name 2 minutes after they're introduced into the movie. That is bad. That is like Avatar level things. Nobody knows anybody's character's name in Avatar other than Jake Sully and Natiri. Nobody knows. Everybody claims that they love the Avatar movies anyway for the characters. It's true. You know? I don't know, like, I definitely was expecting an absolute train wreck of a movie considering the megabucks budget. And most of it is bad and didn't work for me, but I can't explicitly say that it's as much of a train wreck as I thought it was going to be because there were things that I did appreciate about the movie. In the end, The Electric State is just one of those movies that I'm going to forget about in a week because I had stale popcorn watching it. Yeah, it's one of those movies where I feel like despite the fallacies in the script, it's easily digestible, but it's one that's just going to go in one ear, out the other. You're not even going to remember it by like lunchtime. So if you have seen The Electric State, let me know what you think of it in the comments below. I will leave my link to my website in the description below as well. You guys are the best. Thank you for watching. My name is Alex Madden, and I will see you at the movies somewhere.